Brought to you by
Protolabs. Real parts, really fast. Custom metal, plastic, and liquid silicone rubber parts in as fast as 1 day.
Hey everybody. Before I start, I just wanted, Stu Constantine is very generous with his thank yous. I wanted to thank Stu, all of us to thank Stu for everything that you've done. Put this amazing day together. Yeah. Also, a shout out to our other founding partner of Core77, Eric Ludlam, who is in Portland, who says hello to all of you at a distance. So I have asked Stu for a few extra minutes because I have been in Canada for a week and I saw so many amazing things that I have to add this on at the beginning. And I'm going to promise that it may be germane. So there's this thing called the bulk barn in Canada where you buy a bunch of things in bulk, and there were amazing things to photograph. I chose one for you today, which is the macaroni and cheese sauce powder, okay? I think I can stop right here. That's enough. There are tongue tattoos for kids. BFF was the choice. So we need to zoom in on this a little. So life is short, be sexy for it. It's for alloyed fitness equipment. I don't know if this is aspirational image or this is what you're fighting. There's just so much going on. I don't know why you would put this on the back of a bus. Yeah. Thanks for the brake. Like, very Canadian. It's just like, you know, caution, slow-moving vehicle in the States, and in Canada, just like, sorry, thanks, you know. Scissors for your salad. It's just pathetic. And these garbage bags that are leaping out of the garbage can. And you know, the urinal with the hole pattern of the object that you're supposed to put in the urinal. Like, you know, you wouldn't know to do that. But this is it. This is why I'm here. So I found this is called Bug Assault. The tagline is Fire Your Fly Swatter, which I couldn't really figure out. So it's got an FAQ, which is fascinating. You can go to the website. And then the fly facts. No one pities the fly. So this is going to be biased here. So the house fly is the most common species, carrying over 100 different kinds of germs, germ-causing diseases such as typhoid fever, dysentery, TB, bubonic plague, leprosy, to name a few. Right? They're being generous with this list. Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading these diseases. Okay, that's a lot. Another charming characteristic, now they're being a little sarcastic, a fly will lay eggs on your food and vomit on it before feasting, but they're particularly attracted to pet waste. So I don't know what we're supposed to be worried about there, but we're supposed to be worried. And then houseflies tend to stay within 1 to 2 miles of where they were born, but will travel up to 20 miles to find food. I do not believe this statistic. That's a lot, that's far. And then really, this is the one that got me. If a housefly spots a group of flies, he will join them, creating a gang of flies, right? And we are scared of gangs. And you'll notice that this is very gender specific, it's he. So this is guy flies in gangs, and these disease-carrying gangs, which we're afraid of now, and their maggot counterparts must be exterminated at all costs. We the people, that's a little American, must join forces to combat these disease-causing pests, exclamation marks. Okay, so let's look at this thing here. Ready? All right, so this is fucking horrible, right? But it's also fucking awesome, right? So this is a shotgun made of salt. I mean, it shoots salt as the pellets. So yeah, I'm going to show you a lot of stuff on the line between good and evil here today. So it has an Instagram page, and it has a mascot. I love the hashtags. Sorry, this is extra time, not coming off my time. Hashtag Tony Bug Assault, Dirty Dog, Puppy, Gun Salt, Fatty, and Beer Belly. And then this is also the, apparently the customer service rep for the company as well. So, to begin, the lengths to and the sophistication with which brands are attempting to confuse us is astonishing.
Okay, so it's 3708, paper or plastic?
Plastic. That's the magic word. What? Green police. You picked the wrong day to mess with the ecosystem, plastic boy.
Battery! Battery. Let's go, take the house, come on! Put the rind down. Sir, that's a compost inversion.
Uh-oh! Did you install these bulbs?
Oh.
Tragedy strikes tonight where a man has just been arrested for possession of an incandescent light bulb.
What do you guys think about plastic bottles now?
The water setting is at 105. You got a TDI here?
Clean diesel.
You're good to go, sir.
Good afternoon, officers. Are those foam cups you're drinking from?
Yeah.
Please step out of the car and put them on the hood.
All right, so unbelievably well done. Very confusing. I don't know who the villain is here. We're making fun of people who are interested in green and sustainability and environmentalism. We're selling a car at the end of it. It's confusing. Let's look at one more. Okay, so it literally says restore the balance at the end. So you got a guy shopping for tofu, and then he sees the meat-eating, like barbecue guy behind him and gets jealous and sees a Hummer ad on the magazine, goes out and buys a Hummer in order to restore the balance between all the tofu-eating people and the meat-eaters. It's amazing and very confusing.
At Domino's, we take our jobs seriously because we know Americans order pizza when they're building, creating, and innovating. Without pizza, school projects and music albums might go unfinished, startups unstarted. This thing definitely wouldn't be working. No one's coming up with a world-changing idea over halibut. No way. It's always been pizza. So no matter what you're working on, get Domino's $5.99 deal. We can't wait to see what you do next.
I got it.
All right, so this is beyond brilliant because it's true, right? So Domino's has equated themselves with innovation because actually you do celebrate things like this by ordering pizza, and you do fuel them by eating pizza. Domino's isn't a particularly healthful pizza. I actually love Domino's. But the fact that they put this together with innovation and made a very sort of charming case for it is pretty ingenious.
What baby wants, baby gets. The Everyday Collection by Target.
Brilliant, right? Everything good about it, right? Taking this quotidian, everyday object, prenatal vitamins, turning them into a design object, unbelievably well made. But this is part of a series. Would you like to see one more of them?
Lunch is served. The Everyday Collection by Target.
Okay, a little sexier, right? It's not really food. The tomatoes are food, I guess. Keep going. One more.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The Everyday Collection by Target.
Okay, so slippery slope, right? Where are we going from unbelievably ingenious and charming and respectful to quite objectifying, right? This sort of, commercial sort of worship is on the one side of what sort of occupies our media time. This is an Instagram feed called Miserable Men, and it's a guy who takes pictures of guys waiting for presumably women or their partners to shop. Miserable Men. Tiny little pushback. There is a store that's literally called Bye Bye Baby, and we don't see it at all. We barely even hear it.
Wow, Virgin Mobile's got the best phones for just $35 a month.
Yeah, but you don't need a new phone.
Oh no.
With unlimited data and messaging?
Yeah. It's too bad you just got that.
Oops.
Stop, taxi! You have my phone.
Hey, look, I don't want any trouble here. Just take it.
Oh no! Excuse me? You forgot your phone.
It's not my burrito.
Oh no, that was my phone!
Oops.
Oops.
Gosh. How did that happen?
Oops, that was an accident. And so was that.
Don't need a new phone? No, you do. All the best phones with unlimited data and messaging, just $35 a month. Virgin Mobile, a higher calling.
Again, unbelievably well done. Actually saw it recently. I've been running for a while. Sort of the absolute glorification of the destruction of your consumer product, right? But crafted in a package that is so beautiful and so funny and so charming that you're not sort of understanding what the behavior is that they're trying to encourage. And then there's this, what I would call the last straw. All right, you take your phone, you throw it up in the air, you're competing for how high you can throw it, and then catch it, and then you go on a leaderboard and compete with other people here. I was asked by Metropolis magazine a while ago to pick sort of the product of the year for the last year, and I picked actually this, because I thought that this was like the last product. In a way that the is like the last band name. You can't reduce things any further than this. It literally is your last product if you drop it. But to me, it's like, it's the end of the line. So here we are. There's nowhere to go but up from here. So Apple banned this the day after it showed up in the iTunes store, of course. Under the guise that it sort of messed with the warranty. It was very sort of legal why they did it. It's still available on Android. So later on, outside, Android people, together. All right. We worked so hard, and this is what it's come to.
Start with a simple idea. Think more, drink coffee. Stop thinking, start doing. Hatch a design, kill the design. More coffee, design something totally original. Okay, not that original, this original. Now it's time to make something. Do it again, and again. That's good. Kick out the committees, call in the engineers, call in the car guys, call in the nerds. Not those nerds, those nerds. Blow off lunch, blow off dinner, blow off weekends. Sleep. Okay, that's enough sleep. More coffee. Build a prototype. Mold it, shape it, hate it, start over. Build another prototype. Mold it, shape it, love it. That's good. Kick out the committees again. Why? Because they lead to compromise, and compromise leads to this. Okay, back to it. More coffee. Give it some kick. Give it more power. More power. Never too much power. Give it 40 mpg. No, 41. Give it a smartphone app that can start the engine. Give it a huge display. Bigger. No, bigger. Good. Give it a starting price under 16 grand. Uh-oh, the finance guys. You can't do that. Kick out the finance guys. Take it to the track. Tweak, 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 tweak. Stop. Take it to the car shows. Call the critics. Call the marketing team. Win some awards. Get a celebrity endorser. No, 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 no. Yes, he's perfect. I am? Yes, you are. Making a groundbreaking car. It's that easy.
It's that easy. So this either completely trivializes everything that you do or completely celebrates it. I don't know. But this is also part of a series of commercials. So I'm going to show you a shorter version of it.
Start with nothing. Build a groundbreaking car. Good. Now build a time machine. Go here. Find someone who can build a futuristic dashboard display. Bring Future Guy back. Watch him build a TFT display like nothing you've ever seen. Get him to explain exactly what that is.
The thin film transistor display.
Maybe not. Just show it. Customize the dash. Give it park assist. That fuel efficiency flower thing. Send Future Guy home. His work here is done. Destroy time machine. Win some awards. Send in Brady. That's how you do it. Easy.
Okay. He literally said, give it that fuel efficiency flower thing. This is what decades of research and design and development have come to. This is what your hybrid car is living to show you. It's just extraordinary. Probably a lot of you have seen this unbelievably beautiful visualization of flights over the United States by Aaron Koblin. From several years ago. If you go, this is a designer, Andrew Spitz, really an amazing designer. I've looked at lots of his work, and this is a project that he did a little bit recently in school. I'm going to show you this video here. It's unbelievably fantastic. Incredibly done, incredibly well rendered, right? If you go to, you can go right now to flightradar24.com. This is this evening, but this is sort of about now. This is how many planes are above us right now. And you can zoom out, or sorry, you can zoom in first. Nearby, and then out across the world. So there's about 9,000 planes in the air now, like sort of always, depending on where night and day are around the world. On a New York to Denver flight, a commercial jet would generate about 840 to 1,600 pounds of carbon dioxide per passenger, which is the equivalent of about what an SUV generates in 1 month. So every passenger on every plane, 1 month of SUV driving, like all the time, and high up. It's staggering. And then, of course, it turns out that plane exhaust kills more people than plane crashes, which I guess we could guess at. But we also have the carbon situation and climate change. And so if I show you Andrew's project first, you're dazzled because it is, I mean, it's even got like, you know, integration with Foursquare. I mean, it's just brilliant. And, you know, integration with Shapeways, and you can make your little executive desk toy, and it's beautiful, and you can spin it around. You can really celebrate all the trips that you've taken. But if I show you this first, then that looks a little bit, I mean, pick your own word, but maybe like a little perverse. Well, so you get the idea. It's very tricky, you know? We can do this stuff, and we can do it really, really well, and it's very hard to sort of keep track of what's coming and going, and very hard to negotiate this line between good and evil. We need to acknowledge three dichotomies at the very least. The first is that the line between good and evil is very blurry, and then, of course, who decides what is good and what is evil? We have incredible commercial pressure on sort of everything that we do in this planet, and one of the speakers earlier talked about moving from an economics of scarcity to an economics of abundance, which is clearly one of the ways forward. And the challenge is design has a responsibility to be critical about our cultural offerings and to help navigate different flavors of economic and social value. Let's hope it goes without saying. The second dichotomy is that designers make artifacts, but they also make consequence. Once you're in design, you're talking about scale. We heard a little bit about this earlier. If you're in scale, then you're making lots of something, right? You make something once in order to repeat it lots of times. When something gets repeated lots of times, you are in like danger zone, right? Designers don't really see it that way. How do we reconcile the satisfaction of craft with the imperatives of scale? And the third challenge, or the third dichotomy, is we're at the pinnacle of our capability, but we are now facing unprecedented challenges. And to put that a little less nicely, we can pretty much make anything we choose, and we're all going to die. How can it be? We'll take some applause for that, sure. All right. Yeah. So you're an optimist, right? How can it be that we are at the pinnacle of our capability? We can make almost anything, pretty much anything that we think of, at the same time that we're on the precipice of, you know, self-annihilation. How can both of those things be true? These are extraordinary times for design. This is an extraordinary moment for design and how we wield design. How can design take itself seriously and simultaneously serve as both the creative engine of new goods and services and the custodian of our built environment? And what this really means is, how can we charge the same people with saying, hey, make more shit to sell, right? Make more goods and services to sell. Oh, and by the way, look after us. Don't hurt anything, right? Be the stewards of us, our culture, our social, our environment, our civics, our cloud. And I want to show you a tiny little bit of student work, because it's my favorite thing to do. And I want to focus in on sort of the second moves. I think the first move for people, certainly for students, is often not sort of the best move. In some sense, you want to get it out of the way. Flies in the face a little bit about this idea that your first idea is your best idea. So I created this program called Products of Design. It's an MFA program at the School of Visual Arts here in New York City. We actually just graduated our first students last month. Yeah, very excited about that. And so it is a program that really embraces head, heart, and hand, and this move from products to services to systems to platforms, which is really in a way that we really need to think these days, and I talk about it sort of as a multilingual program. So this is Damon Ahola, his thesis project called Hacking the Orchestra of Life, a movement for capturing ambient energy. I'm going to show you like a thin slice. This is a long project, but some of the earlier ideation sketches, he's like an ID guy. He can really very quickly do this kind of thing. And so, you know, speculative objects about a little bit of work and a little bit of light at the end of the day. But he worked with some researchers and scientists and found out that it's just really, really grim. That if you were having a sensor in your pocket and walking around, you would have to walk for a long time. 84 miles to charge the equivalent of a AA battery. 182 miles to charge your phone, 3,174 miles of walking to charge your laptop. So this is completely sort of unfeasible right now using piezoelectric. But I know he talked to Cameron Tonkin-Wise, who really expressed the idea that, that there's power in numbers, that yes, you're generating a tiny little bit, but if you add all those tiny little bits up, you get to something that might actually be significant. So I'll show you this real quick. So actually, I think I had not the most recent video. There's a whole element of clean energy credits and donating energy, and he really looked at the sort of the business case, the systems for this thing. And so this is like this beautifully rendered, sort of Western privileged, articulation of this idea. Where Damon actually started was with energy pirating, where you would actually attach devices to things that move and steal energy, and actually built prototypes. And so, if there's a school bus that's doing this route around your town, or really sort of anything, that you would actually stick these things on at the beginning of the day and pull them off at the end, and you would be, you'd be creating this entire alternative economy of green energy, which is actually where he ended, where he landed. Let me show you just a few quick projects. This is Andres Iglesias. The project here was to redesign the next thing you throw out. So he threw out an ice cream container. So of course, he started redesigning the container and fired up the vacuum former. And then sort of went back and looked at behavior and this idea that you could actually figure out how much ice cream you might eat every day and sort of tear off these tabs as outer part of the packaging, which I think is really smart, and then came up with this. Yeah, so you like run into these things. And so we had this great, discussion about no one's going to like spend the paper and the wax paper to actually do this, right? But as a cultural, piece of speculative design, it's very, very powerful. This is Julia Plevin, who threw out a tampon and got really interested in women understanding their periods. And so looked at this sort of, sidewalk chalk kind of intervention, and then the idea of partnering with Lululemon to create, sort of yoga classes, learn about your body. And then came up with this necklace, which is really, And so you're the teacher, right? And you're reacting to this, and it's kind of brilliant actually, because there are beads around this necklace that show the start of your menstrual cycle and your ovulation. So you would sort of move the token around. Here it is sort of the next week. You'd move the token around. You can see there are black beads and there are white beads to where you were in your period. And so she took something that was very, rough as a first move and turned it into something that was actually very beautiful in the second move. And then she created a kit for girls, for 12 and 13-year-old girls that are punched out of paper that you make yourself, or they make themselves, and they're passed out. Here's to pass them out at Union Square. So it's really sweet. Grace note. And then finally, this is Jungmin Kim, who did a project. This is in the MFA Designers Author Program, where I also teach. And this was a project around Fukushima, and obviously the earthquake and the radioactive disaster that happened. And so these are radiation stickers. And so you can see in the middle here, the middle bar gets darker, the more radiation there is, sort of the worse, whatever this sticker is on becomes. And so she redesigned these things. And so here you can see, not so bad, this redesigned sticker, and here kind of bad, and here, very bad. And here's one more. So this is not so bad, although he looks pretty freaked out. And then a little bit worse. And then, okay, so yeah. So you're the teacher. How are you going to react to this, right? Is this completely disrespectful? Is it funny? Is it horrifying? Is it brilliant? I mean, she's turned these things into consumer products, right? Stickers that you put on your shit. I think that this may be our next work. I think that this is an interesting collision of design and intervention, of product and service, of systems thinking, of platform thinking, that we need to really move our industry into. So just to end, I spoke at the New York Times a couple months ago, and I was really inspired by this idea thought of by Stuart Brand, and many of you probably know about the long now. So the proposition is that you would put a 0 before the year. So this would be 2014, and turn the date into like a 5-digit thing. So it would reframe time, right? So that we're 2,000 years into a 10,000-year unit right now. And it makes you think differently. And so I was going to the New York Times, and I was really inspired by this idea. And so I took their homepage, and I added a 0. There's a closer look, right? And I presented it to them because I thought, maybe they could do it. Although I told them that all I wanted to get was we took it to legal. I just wanted that phrase, them to call me and say, hey, we took this to legal, and no way. Anyway, I tried hard. So then I did it on paper, tough to kern. So you can see here, and it makes you think differently, right? And so I was talking to Liz Danzico about a week before I went to the Times, and she said, well, you should look at it in context of stories. And so here's a story about climate panel sees global warming impacts on all continents, worse to come. And you can see I added the 0 there, and it's just okay, it's 2000, good that they're figuring this out now, right? Chernobyl capping catastrophe, it's okay, that took a very long time. This one's fascinating because you can be very cynical about the space program and think that we did like fuck all since the 60s, right? But if you add a 0, it's just like, wow, like they were on the moon halfway through the 1900s, humans. Like, that's amazing, right? Around women and girls, around trade and stuff. And then, of course, butter is back. So it's out, it's back, it's bad for you, it's good for you. So we figure we'll be debating the butter for another 10,000 years. And that's how I closed with them. And that's how I'll close with you. Thank you. Yeah.